Good morning, my brothers and sisters. On this, our next installment of This Week in Xbox Game Pass, or as we like to call it, Twix a GP, which makes me hungry every time I say it. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine morning, afternoon, evening, or night as we diskin you. Continue to discuss.
We're not doing that.
We better not do that.
No, we're not
Absolutely
discontinuing. Not discontinue. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I take it back. Uh-oh. Hey, this is not our last episode, just in case that's how rumors get started. We are talking about the latest and greatest with the best deal in gaming and all that we love to watch and play within. I am your host today, the Sony Pony and Xbox Clothing, Lucas Ham Swisher. Also with me, the Game Pass Ambassador and MS Points Exploiter, Patrick Novacell.
All right, Lucas. So one of the things, well, you said D-skin.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
it made me think of my son. He's like, I don't know why. Why are they called skins? Like it sounds gross. Like the costumes, their outfits. You know, it's weird to call it different skins.
It's very Hannibal Lecter like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a collectible of lotion and baskets.
Love me some fava beans
basket.
and some Chianti, which we will discuss as I smear on my camera.
Your screen's all messed up.
You look
It's
so
all
bright
jacked
now.
up.
There
You know what? I'm working with it. We're working with it.
Yeah.
Everyone, go to the audio version today.
Yeah, just stop what you're doing. Hit pause. Go to the podcast. Spotify, Apple Podcast. There's lots of options. Much better than this. I look like I'm in an aquarium right now. I don't know what's happening. All right. Bloop, 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 bloop. All right. Also with us, and finally, the final member of the GMG Quadfecta, who's got Battle Royales in his heart and Naraka Blade Point on his brain and sparkling water in his old stomacho, Marc Boucher.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you as well. 1 second. Let me just use some fabric here. My son's sweater. Yeah,
Yeah.
made it less smeary at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't
All right,
look, you don't
gents.
look like you're in a glamour shot from the 80s.
That's what I know, right? This is like a I don't know, like a glamour shot senior year.
Got to do like
course,
a
I'm being-
picture kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
One's faded in.
Yeah,
Just your head looking off.
and looking off in the distance at the stars,
Yeah.
wishing I were anywhere but here.
So anyway, Game Pass.
Yes.
Before we get into Game Pass, let me just say that Returnal is a bane to my existence right now. I've mentioned in the past, and this is like total crossover because, as you all know, it's not in Game Pass.
Sure isn't.
But it's on my mind because I'm working on the Platinum, and I got stuck in a teleporter in the middle of a run, and you can't just start over and it leaves off where you saved. I lost my whole run, and it's feeling fresh. So I just had to bring it up and just say, Housemark, do better. No, I'm just kidding. I love you guys. You're not even listening, so it doesn't matter. Let's get into Game Pass. Back to it. Enough of this PlayStation stuff. One thing that was looked over that I have to throw in there real quick before we get into one of our segments is that they dropped some more games
Sure
earlier.
did.
Yeah, they
as
did.
is tradition.
Yeah.
And I totally missed the games with gold. We can't overlook those chestnuts, those gems.
We can't.
I feel like we can.
But don't you want to play Scourgebringer?
No,
That's
seriously,
normally
Scourgebringer. So that's the only one that came out that
Really?
Lucas, you need to play this game. It kind of reminds
Really?
me of it is a rogue light game.
what?
Yes, and it is
Save
a
it for the
side scroller,
the 20 for 20.
Dead
No, I'm just kidding.
Cells kind of feel to it.
All right, I'm writing it down
is
now.
right up your alley, 100%.
Okay, I'm
Yes,
writing it
grab
down.
that. If you're gonna grab any of these gold games, grab that
Fair
one
enough.
for sure.
Okay. What about Calico?
Oh.
Normally $12, now free. Kind of.
I mean, might as well save it in your library. and all
Or
that.
or Saints Row 2.
I will say Saints Row.
Forget Saints Row now. Who's getting poop? You know, they're getting poo-pooed on right now.
I was going to
Go
say
back
you'd
to
probably get the
classics.
same experience.
I don't
maybe
know.
better.
They're saying all the Saints Row games feel like the same game to me.
They really
I
are
think I
just
was
the
like,
same.
I'm like, have I played this game already? Feels like it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's why it's getting bad reviews is because it didn't iterate on anything. It just said, you know
Yeah.
what? We're now prettier.
Well, not to mention
Sure.
it's glitchy as all get out.
Oh, is it?
Oh, really?
Fair enough.
Yep.
The last one is, and I think I've played this one, but it's so memorable that I don't remember if I actually did. Monaco, what's yours is mine.
That's a lie.
Yeah, it's some kind of game where you have like roles that everybody plays, and you can play multiplayer. I think couch co-op, maybe
Do
online.
you know
perhaps.
this game? This is all questions about this game.
I might just be making stuff up,
Ron
but
Burgundy?
you're pretty much like you're thieves, and you all have like one of you's a getaway car. I did play this. One of you's a getaway car. One of you's like the ballistics gun person, the bomb person.
Are
and
you inanimate objects or are you people?
I think you're inanimate people.
You're dead people?
Yep.
What?
It's like Weekend at Bernie's. Monaco.
Okay.
Monaco. Weekend at Monaco.
I want to play this game now.
Yeah. I know. Sorry. It's going to severely disappoint you. So what we learned from this, I need to check out Scourgebringer. Anyone else who likes roguelikes, check it out with me. Speaking of roguelikes, before we jump in the 20 for 20, I want to introduce a new segment, which is the GMG GPT 10. Which is the Good Morning Guys Game Pass Top 10, where we each and every month, every other episode or so, we contribute one game to add to the top 10 ranking till we fill it up. And then from there, we can add in new games, switch out old games. One of my top 10 games just got taken out. So I was highly disappointed in that.
Agreed.
And that is Hades.
Some games leave, like Hades. Yeah. So we'll definitely need to refresh the list.
When you get this, if you're listening to this pretty soon, you have only a few days. It's going out August 31st. It's gone. You gotta
download
pay
it
for
and then buy it. Yes.
It's worth the money.
Yeah,
Just pay for it. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Just wait.
Yeah.
Even if you want to play it, wait and pay for it because it's worth the money. But so we're gonna throw in some games, one each, and we're gonna throw them in, and then we're gonna rank them. So this is gonna be our top 3 to start us out. So Patrick, what do you got for me?
Quantum Break. Right off the bat.
Ooh, that's interesting.
I know you guys haven't played the game yet, so
we haven't. We'll have to trust your judgment.
Definitely top 10.
All right, Mark.
So we're doing like top 10, like in general, just top 10 games.
Yeah,
Game
of
Pass?
all the games on Game Pass, this is our GMG top 10 that we recommend you play. These first 10 games you play first if you have access to Game Pass or play now.
Okay. Crap.
Do you want me to go while
Yes,
you?
I
I would
think
say Psychonauts 2. You think that's the top 10?
Yes.
All right. Well, Pat made it easy for you.
Thank you.
Psychonauts 2, and then my contribution is going to be Celeste.
There you
So
go.
Yep.
now we're not doing numbers. We're not doing voting. What should be the top 3? What should be the order of these 3 to start our top 10?
I think it should be Celeste, Quantum Break, Psychonauts 2.
Yeah, that's fair.
1, 2, 3.
You agree?
Yeah.
I agree.
Then again, I haven't played fully Psychonauts 2 yet.
I will tell, having beaten Psychonauts 2, Celeste is better.
Okay.
Have you played Quantum Break, Mark?
I have played it. I have not completed it.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, I think based off of the trailers and what I've seen in reviews and all that sounds like a good order. This is a top 10, so they're all good games. There are no losers here. So, all right, we're going to go with that. So, folks, our first draft of the top 10 is Celeste, Quantum Break, Psychonauts 2, in that order, best to little less best. So that concludes our first installment. So let's move on to the 20 where we throw out, I almost said throw out some games that we've played on the old Game Pass where we've at least played for 20 minutes. The goal is every month is to get a list of at least 20 games. So that's what we're doing. We have 7 so far, and so we're going to throw out 13 today. We're just going to do a round robin and just start naming our games and where they fit, whether they're going to be all in right now, whether we're going to be all in on them right now, or we're going to add them to the backlog, or we're going to abandon them. So we got the alliterations going, all with the A's. So we're going to start with Mark this time. What do you got for us?
So I'm all in on Trek to Yomi.
Ooh,
Nice.
Yummy.
Yeah, I started
Very nice.
playing that the other day, and
Yeah?
it's a beautiful game, and the combat it's not like too terribly difficult. I have not listened to the first episode, because I knew I was at some point. I was
Yeah,
gonna
don't
play
do it. Yep.
So I'm probably about an hour in, maybe something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how
Yeah.
long the game is, but I'm enjoying it so far.
Cool.
So yeah, and I love the voice acting, all of that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Um,
The voice acting, the screaming.
yes, well, yes. Well, it brings authenticity to it.
It does.
So
If you and your village were getting, slaughtered by bandits, you'd be making those gurgly sounds too.
it's more so that the acting is in Japanese,
Oh, right. Yeah, that's what I knew.
but
What you
the
meant.
screaming helps too. Yes.
Yeah. Pat, what do you want to add to the 20 for 20?
I am all in on Second Extinction.
Mm.
It is a first-person
Ooh,
shooter,
That's right.
PvE against dinosaurs, and it plays like Apex. It is unbelievable.
This
I
is
remember you talking
multiplayer, right?
about this.
I played it once and I'm like, oh my gosh, I was looking through the Game Pass games trying to figure out what's for 20 for 20, and I forgot about this game and I want to get back into it. It's like if
you and
would
me both.
If you would combine Apex and Ark, this is the game. This is the baby. It's amazing.
This is the baby. Do you know if Ronnie's played it?
I don't know. I know I played it with Eric, and
Okay.
Eric liked it. So
We got to get Ronnie in on that too.
Yes,
we
for
should
sure.
get it. We should run a crew if we can do that. I don't know how
Yeah.
many people can play at the same time.
I think 3 or 4.
But all right, let's do it. So I got to make a list now. Scourgebringer and Second Extinction. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go ahead and go next, obviously, since I'm the third person here. And I'm going to do an all in also. I'm all in, and this might seem obvious, but it's not something that I'm actively playing, but I'm still all in on it, and that is Forza Horizon 5. I have definitely played at least 20 minutes, but I definitely have only gotten a few missions in. So, yeah. So
Okay.
Forza Horizon 5, I don't think it really needs any words because most people know what it's all about.
It's
but if
also
you're not,
a top 10 game, by the way.
yeah, well, not yet.
Ah,
It may be.
It
It
could be,
just
yeah.
might be.
Yeah.
We'll check in next time. But yeah, so I'm not a big car guy, but this game is so beautiful. I'm pretty sure it's more beautiful than real life. So all about it. Mark or Patrick, we're going to circle back to you. We're going to snake this one. So what's
stick with all in.
you can go anywhere you want.
Okay, I'm gonna stick with all in. Just go down the
Set
list
the
for me.
tone. Yeah, do it.
I've played 20 minutes of this game called Telling Lies. It's a full motion video like game where
Ooh,
you try to
okay.
figure out the mystery of it all. So
Yeah.
I am all in on that.
Nice. Telling lies. That, for some reason, makes me think of the song. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Tell me.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
That beautiful falsetto voice, Marc Boucher. What else you got? Either all in, add it to the backlog, or abandoned.
Added to the backlog is Dragon Ball Z Fighters.
Let's go.
Ooh, double that up because I also have that on my add to the backlog.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah?
I did play that for a little bit. It feels great. It's very much a a DBZ or whatever fighting game.
Yeah.
It's good, but like I've played so many of those that like I'm just used to that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, this plays like a Dragon Ball Fighter game.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's much more to it.
Yeah.
But it's certainly something I'll revisit at some point. It looks fantastic, and I love how you can have like 3 different people on a team and switch between fighters. It's almost like you're is that like a Marvel versus Capcom kind of thing where you could like switch between different fighters?
Yes. Yeah, I definitely think of that. Yeah, for sure.
But it's very, very faithful to the art style of Dragon Ball. So
Yeah,
it's
it
cool.
does. It is. It does. What am I talking about?
I say add it to the backlog.
Nice. That's a fine choice, my friend. Did you try out the story mode at all?
I did not.
Did you go to the online hub?
No, I just went straight offline. I'm like, I don't want to try and play against people.
I'm jealous. I should have done the offline play because I went online and then there's you get this little chibi character. You just running around trying to find a place, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And then finally, I just clicked the tutorial button and it said, do this next. And
You
I'm
get
like,
the
okay.
same thing in offline mode. You get to pick
Yeah.
your little character.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
But,
adult Gohan at the moment.
Yep. That's who I am too. I found the story mode though, and so I played a couple chapters It's entertaining. It's I mean, it's you encounter people and they're like, let's fight, and then you fight, and then you go to the next area, and pretty much, well, I'll talk about it later once I've finished. I'm gonna definitely finish the story mode, so
Okay, I may give it a try. Or
added it to
probably
my
will give it a
backlog.
try.
Pretty much, you've possessed Goku's body is the short end of it. And
Okay.
Goku's like stuck in his head, and you're talking to him, and he's talking to you, and being like, "You gotta fight for me," and all this stuff.
So it's like
funny.
the being John Malkovich of DBZ
Yes,
games.
that's exactly what it is. It's being Goku, Dragon Fighters. Yeah, it's
being
good
Son
stuff.
Goku.
Yep.
I like it.
I'm gonna keep going with the add to the backlog, and I think Cuphead is definitely being added to the backlog. That's gonna punish me, I know, but I am gonna play this beautifully animated game someday, and cry probably while I'm doing it.
I love that
but-
game and hate that game at the same time.
Yeah, and I can see why. I mean, the animation is like, so good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mark, do you have another game to add to the 20 for 20?
Abandoning for now, at least, I guess. I don't know if that's considered adding to the backlog, but I'm abandoning it. Is the Escape Academy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought I might be interested in it, and
I don't think you're ever gonna get back to that game.
Probably
Just-
not.
It's
probably not.
Abandoned.
Yeah. Like I love escape rooms, but it really seems like you need another person
Yeah.
to play this game.
You know, Mindy plays an escape room on her phone, and I feel like escape rooms are more, I don't know, catered toward mobile. I don't see on a console playing it, unless, like you said, you're playing it couch co-op with a friend.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
maybe be interesting. But yeah, Patrick, how about you, buddy? What else you got to add to the list?
backlog is Outriders.
Okay.
So I
Ooh,
played
yeah.
played it when it first came out. I got to like the same point, and I've turned it on maybe like 3 separate times. I'm like, man, I'm just not into this. But I know it's a good game. I know it's a game that it's like it's third person, like Gears of War type of shooter, Destiny kind of thing. So I know that I like it. I just haven't had that feeling yet. So I'm just gonna add it to the backlog.
Fair enough. All right. I am going to add to the abandoned list golfing with friends.
Sad.
Yeah, sorry, no friends for me. Actually, I did play this one with Ryan about a month or two ago. And I think for me, I'm kind of old school in the sense that I like taking turns and watching each other play. Like playing at the same time. It's kind of like with the Turbo
Golf race.
the Rocket League golf game.
Yep.
Like, it's not fun when I'm like playing alongside people to me. Like, it's just like, oh, how did you do? Oh, I did great. Oh, I got a -1. How did you do that? I don't know. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
it's like we're like together, but we don't have to be. And so it did
So you
not
want it
mesh
to be
with me.
like something where you could just punch your opponent and like take their club, throw it in the pond.
Exactly. It's like a golf with friends and enemies. Like add just
Yeah.
enemies to the end.
Golf
It's
with
like
the enemies, and now that would be a great sequel.
Golf with frenemies. That's what they should call it.
Ooh, yes,
Yeah. Now that I would be into. And you can like
Yeah.
interrupt each other and yeah. Mark's like, no, thank you.
You
I
throw
like
a net
to-
over the hole so they can't get it in.
I feel
You
like
like
if
put
you
a grenade in the hole and as
Oh,
soon as it makes
grenade. Oh,
contact,
this
it's yeah. I mean, if we're beating each other with gloves and stuff,
I,
throwing nets around.
I feel like if you watch now, I will say that Markiplier, he's a YouTube gamer personality. I will say that he cusses a little bit, not a little bit, I mean quite a bit in his stuff. But if you watch his playthroughs of golfing with friends, I think that's how much fun you can have with that game. But I think it's more people like complaining like, how did I miss that shot and why am I turning into an acorn and all this kind of stuff. So
Yeah. I gotcha.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I've never gone to a putt-putt place and been like, man, I can't wait to play this by myself. Like, that's what it feels like. I'm just playing putt-putt by myself. And
Fair.
yeah. So, abandoned. Do you guys have any more games? I'm trying to see where we're sitting here, if we've reached 20 yet.
I'm gonna add another game to the backlog, and I'm adding. You know what? With Xbox Game Pass, you also have EA Play, so there's a lot of games in there that
Yeah,
you can play
yeah.
too. So, and I found that Star Wars Squadrons is also on there, so I am adding that to the backlog. It's another Star Wars
Ooh,
game.
yeah.
It's flight. It's all flight, and I'm not very good with flight games, but I feel like I need at least to try it out. I did like maybe the first mission. I got to the hub, and I was like, you know what, I can't I can't do this right now. I need to take some medicine when I play those games.
I need to take some medicine.
Some Dramamine or something.
Some Dramamine. Do you have any Dramamine? Why are you not feeling good? He's like, no, I'm about to play a game. I'm going to need it. What?
Yeah, but I'm going to add that one to the backlog because I do want to play that one
That's
more.
Fair. Nice. That one's actually in my PlayStation backlog because I borrowed your physical copy of it when I visited the U.S.
Oh yeah.
during Christmas.
Yeah. I probably still have a physical somewhere.
You do. It's here in Brazil. I borrowed it.
Oh, you have it? Oh, I thought you
Yeah.
gave it back to
I was
me.
like, hey, can I borrow this? And you're like, sure. And I'm like, I'll return it when I come back in 2023. So,
okay.
Yep, that's on my backlog, but not for
yeah.
this.
I have to use it for Game Pass for now.
All right. Yes. So you do Game Pass, and then you can play it on PlayStation when I bring it back.
Yep.
Mark, do you have any more games you want to add to any lists?
That's it for now.
All right. Well, I will throw out another Abandoned, unfortunately. And this one is partly because of my son. My hopes were that he would really like it, but Slime Rancher is getting abandoned. It's just a little too like, why am I doing this? And the slimes are not very cute. I mean, they're cute at first, but then they're just annoying because they're like running away and you have to catch them. And after a while, James is like, why am I doing this? I'm like, for the slimes. He's just like, I'm going to play Minecraft. Yeah. And so he just goes and plays Minecraft. So that one's lacking a little content, I think, and it's lacking, I don't think we could play together at the same time. I don't remember
Slime
how
Rancher
hard I
2
looked.
is coming out early next year, so just add that one to the backlog. Add that one to play later. Maybe that's gonna be co-op. Who knows?
Yeah, I just need co-op is really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
When you're playing by yourself, it's not very fun, but co-op I would get into. Pat, you got another game?
Yeah, I got a couple abandoned games.
All right, let's abandon them. Let's hear it.
The Pedestrian. The Pedestrian is like a side-scrolling
And it's pedestrian.
puzzle game. Yeah, and you're like this small little pedestrian guy who's going through like the city of all like the different stop signs and landmarks and things like that, and you're trying to get from door to door, but it's all like you have to figure it all out. And I played a few levels of it. I'm like, this is not really that exciting. I get it. I get what it's trying to do, but it's just not for me. So I'm putting that in the backlog, or in the abandoned games.
In the abandoned.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the last one that I'm putting on the abandoned games is A Memoir Blue. I know that's only a 1 hour game, but I played maybe half of it, and I was like, this is like 30 minutes, and I was like, man, this is not fun. Like at all.
You were halfway there.
Yeah,
Sounds like my wife. When my wife, I tried to get her to play Journey on PlayStation, and she played an hour. And I was like, you're halfway there. And she's like, are you serious? I'm over this. And just turn it off.
Yes, yeah.
Let's play Angry Birds. All right, fine. Yeah. Yeah, Memoir Blue. I had that on my short list to try because it was newer, but thanks for ruining that. I don't even want to do it anymore. So
Yeah, dude, don't worry about it.
thanks for saving me 30 to 45 minutes.
I mean, you could use that 30 to 45 minutes to figure out your Returnal thing.
That's true. And I probably will spend that and more to figure out Returnal. Well, there you go, guys. 20 for 20. We did it. First month down, August. We've played 20 games, and we've put them in their place, and that's where they're going to stay. With that, let's jump into our Twix GP topic, As Dusk Falls, Book 2, Transition Music.
Is that Mandalorian? What are you doing?
Also, there's no transition music.
I know, that's why I was doing it myself, because I was like, oh wait, there's no transition music to the topic, so I'm just making it up. So you know what? Just come for the discovery of what kind of transition music am I going to make up, whether it's copyrighted
Written.
or not.
Copywritten.
Thank you. Copywritten or not.
Can you do that if you just use your just voices?
If you're bad enough, I think you can. Because it needs to be
Yeah.
in a court of law.
If
I
you're
could be
bad
like,
enough.
that was B flat, so that's not actually the song. That was.
No,
you're
it's-
not
it's-
even close.
It's mainly the recording you're not allowed to use.
Yep. So see,
Okay.
we could just do our own transition music from now on. We never have to worry about being copyright striked.
Yeah.
All right. As Dusk Fall, guys.
Yeah.
As Dusk Fall Guys. I just made up a game.
Crossover.
Yeah. That would be an awful game.
That is not the same type of game.
There would be no suspense whatsoever. All right. Book 2. Last we left off. By the way, people, if you have no idea what's going on, we covered book 1 some weeks ago. We are going to do spoilers. We're going to give an overall rating at the very end after we've said our piece, kind of shared our journey, what we've gone through. Because book 2 did not hold any punches. It got pretty crazy. Some people might have died. Some people might have lived. All of them might have lived in maybe at least one person's case, but we'll get into that. So, As Dusk Falls, book 2 starts with pretty much a O.J. Simpson-esque being chased by the police in your white Bronco. Okay, it's not a white Bronco.
I was going to say, he's a lot faster than the white Bronco.
Yeah, that's true. But you're driving away the Holtz and your hostage of choice. For Patrick, it was the daughter, Zoe. For me, and I think Mark, it was Vince, the dad. And so pretty much you get to a point where they decide, hey, we're going to run from the cops and we're going to try to find our cabin. And from there, things can go a few different directions. Mark, why don't you share with the class what led up to you going to the cabin with the Holtz?
I am so freaking mad.
Me too. Go ahead.
So I tried my best because I wanted to keep Vince alive.
Yes.
And so when he tries to escape out of the car, trying to convince Jay to let him out, and I went with no, don't let him out because I don't want him to get shot at.
Exactly.
And no more than 5 minutes later, they're busting away from the cops again, and Jay flips the car because there's an animal in the road. A
lynx, a little cat, a little wild cat.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
And he flips the car. The only one that dies is Vince.
Wow.
No quick time event, nothing. If you did your job as Jay and you kept him there, Vince died no matter what.
Yep.
Absolute trash. I was so mad.
I would be mad too. Yeah. That's not what happened in my playthrough, but I would be pissed.
Yeah, because he wasn't in the car, so.
Yeah, he wasn't in the car. I had Zoe in the car, and when the car flipped and the Holtz run away to the cabin, I had a choice just to stay in the road or hide or whatever because the cops were coming. Right. I was like, the cops are coming. Why would I hide? So I just stayed in the road. The cops came in, they took me in, and I was saved. Nothing happened there.
Nice. Yeah, I like your version better.
I was mad, but given all the choices that I made later on, I was actually somewhat I came to grips with it. I was at peace.
Yeah.
With it. Did I like it in that moment? Absolutely not. But
no, I still haven't come to grips because I saved their marriage.
Yeah, that's fair.
They laid everything out on the table. Their marriage was going to work out, and then Vince dies, and it's because Jay, of no control of my own, doesn't want to hit a stupid little wild cat. Hit the cat, man. Just go with it. You're being chased by the cops. Who dodges a cat at this point when you've already done all the things you've done?
Although I don't know how fast he was going. That had to have been 55, 60 more miles an hour, and he was hitting something that fast.
Would have obliterated that cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't that big of a cat. It would have it would have exploded. At least Vince would have lived.
That's fair. That's fair.
That made me sad. So from there, I think, if you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, we have a flashback to 2 months earlier. And we start playing as the son of the motel owner, the Desert Ranch Motel, Desert Dream, thank you. You play as her son. He goes on a little bike ride because he's mad at his mom and he wants to go on an adventure. And, you do things like, decide whether to eat a candy bar or not. At one point, you get attacked by a boar. What did you guys do when you got confronted by the boar, Patrick?
Well, first of all, I ate the candy bar, and then the boar came. I'm like, dang it.
Yeah, I could have fed the boar. That's exactly what I did.
No, but I was able to get away from the boar unharmed.
Unarmed?
Unharmed.
Well,
I ate the candy bar, so I was definitely unarmed.
Yeah, I got out my rocket launcher and I shot the boar to smithereens. JK. Yeah. Mark, did you eat the candy bar?
I ate the candy bar. However, unfortunately, this was the very first time. Actually, no. This was the second time. The first time, I failed a QuickTime event. There's actually a scene with... Actually, no. No, that's after that. So this was the first time. Yeah. So the first time I failed a QuickTime event was when the boar started charging.
Right.
And I didn't get it in time, and so I got pummeled. I was able to get away from the boar, but I got hit, and I got injured.
Yeah, I tried to scare the boar, and then I quickly learned that boars are not scared of me. So
yeah, I tried to be
ran.
quiet.
Oh, did you? Yeah. I was able to dodge the boar, but I think he falls and he just scratches his knee or something like that. When
if you get hit by the boar, he scratches his stomach.
Oh, ouch. Yeah, I just scratched my leg a little bit.
Yeah.
To take care of that, we find the cabin, which we at this point figure, this is the Holt's cabin most likely. And you get warmed up, you get a Band-Aid if you need it, and then who walks up to the door? Hollering and all that stuff around, but none other than Papa Holt.
Bear.
Old Bear comes crashing in, and from there where did you guys hide?
The closet.
I think the closet. Yeah.
Where did you hide, Mark?
The closet.
Oh no! Didn't he open the closet?
Immediately.
Yeah, but at the same time, like the only other option, which I'm sure there probably was a third option that I wasn't paying attention to. The only other option was to like hide behind the door.
You could go under the bed. That's
really?
where I went.
Okay,
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't see that. So the other option I saw was
you guys got busted like right away because that's where he checks the very first thing when he comes in.
Yeah, and it was like, did you get caught though? Still under the bed?
No.
So yeah, he grabs me and he's just like don't you ever come here again, and he's like thinking I'm stealing something or whatever, and he lets me go. So it ends up being fine. He lets me go,
Yeah.
but yeah, he found me like within a second.
Yeah.
I was just hide in the closet. I better check the closet the very first thing.
It's like Alien Isolation or Outlast, where you pick the worst spot possible.
Yep.
Yeah.
I hid under the bed, and then pretty much how it worked, he was like making food or doing something, and each time he would move, it would give me like a quick time event to move to the next spot, like behind the couch, behind the door, and all that. So I escaped, and then he said the same thing. He's like, "Don't you ever come back here again!" Blah blah blah. He shot a couple shots in the air, that kind of stuff. And so then you escape, you get to the road, and Ash runs into the corrupt sheriff. And did you tell him about the cabin, or did you not tell him?
Hold on.
Oh, wait.
Whoa.
Oh, no. Sorry. Yes.
So before
there's
that
more.
happens, yeah,
that's right. You're climbing.
There's more.
There's more. I was successful. I take it you were not, Mark.
No, I was not, and I freaking broke my leg.
Oh no.
But I still had to climb it, even though I broke my leg.
Yeah, well, you got to get out of there, or
Yeah.
if you die, you're not telling anyone anything.
Actually, no, I take that back. I tried to climb out, and then Jay ends up finding you, and then
really?
Yeah, and then it just skips right to you in the hospital.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's I got out of the hole, and then I ran into the sheriff. And the sheriff's like, "What's going on? Where were you?" And I immediately narked on the Holt. So it was like, "There's a cabin back there." And he's like, okay. And then it's like, Dante will remember this. It didn't say that, but
yeah,
obviously
for me,
I knew what I was doing.
For me, Dante shows up in the hospital. And
Really?
Yeah, he shows up in the hospital with because he knows the kid's mom.
Yeah.
I get this strong feeling that Dante is the kid's dad, from the way that it was coming across.
Interesting. All
Because
right.
the kid doesn't know who his dad is.
Yeah.
But yeah, he asks him, what he was doing out there, and then you get the option to either tell him about the cabin or don't. I didn't.
Yeah.
So
Patrick, what happened with you?
I can't remember if I did or not because the cops never. I don't think they ever found the cabin, so I might have not
you
said
didn't.
anything.
Yeah, you didn't say anything. Yeah, because if you do, like I did, because at that point I was very mad that the Holtz had killed Vince. Was pretty much this was like my
Okay.
revenge decision. I was like, you
Yeah.
know what? Forget you, Holtz. I don't like you anymore. You killed Vince.
Yeah. Well, and
And
I
s-
didn't want anything to happen to Jay because I'm like, man, he's such a he's in a wrong spot.
Yeah.
He just can't get out of it.
Yeah. So the result of narking as Ash gets pretty much Tyler killed, just so you know. And yeah. So you're in the well, back this up a little bit. Before we get into that, we have to cover Jay because Jay stumbles through after and this is I'm going to just share real quick what happens to me and then you guys can share if the same thing happened to you, obviously. You escape the car wreck. You hide from I hid from the cops with Jay, and then I pass out while walking through the forest. And then I wake up in a house, and this house has a family, and I'm befriended by a teenage girl. She makes me lunch, makes Jay lunch. I get cleaned up, gives clothes that are, kind of random and big on him. He helps her study. I knew the question to, the president that helped build the Hoover Dam, or I can't remember which one. Oh no,
Same.
that founded the parks who helped pass that, Teddy Roosevelt. And so just hang out with them and grandma. So is that the same thing that happened to you guys?
Same. Yeah.
same thing.
So from there, the dad comes home early, and he's very, suspicious of you. And you go with that you're one of the students. Of course, I got the high school name wrong.
Yep.
And he corrected
Oh,
me, and
you
I was
did?
like,
Oh.
"That's what I said. That's what I meant." I was like, I'm new at the school, so that's pretty much how it went. But he starts really interrogating, and eventually, I decide to say, I was walking around on the road high, and I got hit by a car. Is what I tell him.
That's what I picked.
Yeah. So then he chases me off. But before I leave, I get the 411 from the girl. Vanessa?
Yes,
Is that her
Vanessa.
name? Yeah. I get her phone number and then I leave.
So
to
you
go-
were nice and
to go
said
separately.
goodbye.
Yeah, I was nice and said goodbye.
Nope.
Yeah.
I left. I was like, bye.
You're like,
I
forget
just
you.
I just snuck out.
Yeah, I said
Yeah.
goodbye too.
Nice. Yeah. So from there, it jumps forward. We're in the cabin, I believe, with Jay. And in the cabin, you find out that Jay, you're adopted, Jay. I'm adopted.
What a great time for that.
Yeah, I know, right? And Tyler wants to ditch you. And so from there, the cabin gets attacked by the police because I narked on them. And at that point, I'm like, you know what? As long as Mom and I get out of here, I don't really care what happens. And my feeling was correct because Tyler gets shot, and your mom escapes, ditches Jay, and I have to sneak out and try to escape. And then from there, I get arrested by the police because they eventually find me no matter what I do. I passed all the stuff, and pretty much it comes down to the fact that I can either choose to shoot a cop or I can be arrested. And I chose to be arrested. I was like, you know what? It's not worth it. I don't want to kill the cop. Jay's already like in over his head, not really done anything super bad. So I'm just going to try to just iron these things out and figure it out with the police.
See, this is where it shifted for me because I started to become more invested in Jay's story and where he was
okay.
going. And I started instead of like, I mean, I still made some decisions based on what I thought I would do, but then I started making more decisions based on what I thought the character would do.
Right.
And so
It's fair.
on my side of things, so obviously I didn't narc. So after this whole thing where Jay finds out he's adopted, Tyler and the mom Sharon are having this discussion because there's only 2 seats on the motorcycle, and they're basically just going to leave Jay behind.
Right.
And so I basically went with the idea that Jay's upset because he finds out he's adopted. He doesn't know who he is, and so he decides he's just going to peace out. He's just going to leave.
Really?
And then Tyler chases after Jay because Tyler knows Jay knows the entire plan of what they're going to do.
Jeez.
Same. Yep.
So
Okay.
That's
he
crazy.
basically goes running out with a gun. Like, he's like, I don't want to have to shoot you, but you know the plan. So then Jay ends up climbing a tree, and Tyler goes climbing up after him. Now, Tyler has injured himself as a result of the car being overturned earlier.
Right.
So his leg is jacked up. And he starts to slip, and he's like, Jay, help me. My leg won't be able to sustain another fall like that. And I elected to save him.
Same.
So
Good job.
And so ultimately, when I did that, they start having this conversation, and Jay's like, save it. I know what I need to do. I need to go out on my own. He's like, y'all just survive. And that's basically where they part ways. Jay goes off on his own, and Tyler and Sharon, they leave together.
Really?
Yeah.
Same. Yeah.
That is crazy. All right. Well, this is we've splintered off here a little bit because my story's gonna definitely develop a little more. But that pretty much
So
was
now
the
you
end
have
of
Vince and Tyler dead.
Yeah,
In
Vince
my
and Tyler are
playthrough,
dead.
Vince and Tyler are both alive.
Yeah. So in this chapter, this is chapter 4, by the way. We're nearing the end of that. Did anything else happen with Vince for you, Patrick?
No spoilers. He stayed alive through the entire game for me.
I don't want to hear about that. We're not there yet.
So
Shut your face. Way to rub it in, jerk. All right. So we go on to chapter 5, and at that point, everybody receives the news that Vince is dead. So you get to watch everybody cry or be stupid. One of which is Grandpa, is the dad. And when they said that Jay was not Bear's son, I immediately went to Grandpa and was like, ooh, is he Jay's dad? Like real dad when
He is
swung
way
by?
too old to be Jay's dad.
How? No, but you take away 15 years or however old. How old's Jay? 16? 17?
Jay's like 17, 18, and old man, like
I'm
the
telling you
grandpa
what.
is got to be in his like 50s or 60s at the time of, like, that's too old.
I think it could be him. I think in spoilers, it doesn't reveal either way.
Yeah.
But I think the parentage, the dad, whoever the dad is of Jay, is going to become an important point, which I think that feeds into what happens at the very end to get you ready for book 3, which we will not talk about yet. But yeah, so chapter 5, for me, let's see what happens. Oh, I get arrested and I'm at the sheriff's office. So I'm talking to the FBI guy, the I don't remember his name, but it's the FBI guy that is actually a clean, like, guy. And he starts talking to me, and eventually I get to the point where I'm just like, I just say that pretty much anything I did, I don't say what I did. I just say whatever I did, they made me do it. Like, I pretty much throw my dead brother under the bus thinking, well, he's dead. What are they going to do to him?
Yeah.
And after he had played good cop, he turns to bad cop, and he goes to his recorder and he says, here's proof, folks, that he committed murder on behalf of his family because they coerced him to murder this, that, and the other. And Jay's just like, "What? That's not what I said." And the cop's like, "You can tell that to your lawyer." So he pretty much tricks Jay into confessing to crimes he didn't commit. And so from there, he goes to the cop goes out and starts talking about lunch with some friends. And at that point, I escape from the police precinct or wherever I am being kept. And with that, I go to Salt Lake City and I make a call to Vanessa, and she comes and brings me supplies. And pretty much we're talking in a hotel room about, lives and our lives and what we're going to do. And she's like, well, I'll help you tonight and then I'll head back tomorrow. And then the dad comes, Vanessa's dad, the girl's dad, and you got to hotwire a car and escape. And I'm successful and I escape. Vanessa's like, I'm going with you. Let's go. I'm like, okay. And so that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
So, Mark, you're making a face. What happened to you?
So
Or Jay, I guess.
yeah, so Jay ends up walking into like a bar, and
This is crazy how much
Yeah.
his branches off.
Jay ends up walking into this bar, and he asks people like, does anybody here going north, basically? And they tell them to ask this dude in the back who's playing darts, and so I'm guessing you did that too, Pat.
Yeah, this is my exact same storyline for me with Jay. I think it's because of how our story ended at the cabin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where this goes and ended up to the bar. So
Yeah.
you continue. This is the same as for me.
Yeah, so he basically goes and talks to this one dude that's in the back playing darts, and the guy essentially agrees to drive him if he can beat him in a game of darts. And so you have to essentially play darts with him and beat him in the game. And if you win, which I won, he still
Well done.
he still wants to throw a fight about it. But then
Jerk.
one of the cops that was there at the Desert Dream, one of the ladies, the lady cops, she ends up walking into the bar trying to find Jay. And so you're able to use Jay to sneak out the back door while the other people are kind of distracting her and that kind of stuff. And then the truck driver comes out and he realizes, that this kid is on the run from the law and all this kind of stuff. And he tells his story about how he was on the run from the law and all this kind of stuff and what the cops did. And one of his accomplices was killed and things like that. And yeah. And so he decides to give him a ride, and that's how you get to Salt Lake City that way.
Ooh, okay. So I had that conversation with him outside of the bar after I escaped.
Yeah.
And I must have said something wrong. He's like, I don't like you. I'm not taking you anymore. And so, so I just end up getting into one of the other cabins for the semis, and I just sleep my way to Salt Lake City. And then they open it up. They're like, "Hey, get out of here, you hobo!" And I get out, and I'm in Salt Lake City.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
And that's when I give Vanessa a call, and the same thing happened. After that.
Yeah. Gotcha. Nice. Now, meanwhile, I don't know if this happened for you because, I think for both of you, you said Tyler and Mama Holt, they went off on their own by motorcycle, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so since Mama Holt went off on her motorcycle by herself, did not get arrested, she winds up at Paul's house, and she's by herself. Paul helps her, and then I find out Dante and Paul are cousins, but I still have Paul side with the mom. And pretty much after trying to hide the mom, Dante says some stuff about the mom. The mom gets angry, attacks him, and then I have Paul help the mom not take him out, but knock out Dante. And then we go to his truck, start the truck, get the cat, and then we drive off. They drive off into the sunset or whatever. So
and they have that little black book with all the account numbers for the offshore accounts. So they want to go to, I think, was it Cuba or something like that?
Tijuana, Mexico. Yeah, it's Mexico.
Okay. Yeah,
did that same thing happen with you guys? You had Paul side with
Yeah.
Holt, Mom Holt.
I did.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, they were old flames, and she seemed genuine. So I was like, oh, let's have him have a happy ending. No good endings coming from Dante. He's a jerk.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think they basically when what's the guy's name? Paul? Is it Paul?
Paul. Yeah.
Paul finds Sharon in his bed. She tells him that they took off on the motorcycle, but then the police found them, and the motorcycle actually hit a flat tire, and so she and Tyler had to split.
Oh, okay.
So,
I was wondering how that was going to work out. I'm like, does Paul find Tyler and his mom in their bed? Which is awkward.
Just Sharon at that point.
This isn't 12 minutes, all right?
Yeah. Fair enough. Spoilers.
But yeah, all the rest of it pretty much played out the same. He agreed to help Sharon. He hits Dante with the coffee pot, all that kind of stuff. I don't think I saved a cat though.
Oh yeah, the cat jumped in the truck with him. He was like, "Wait, my cat!" And the cat's just like, "Meow." jumps in the truck.
I don't think I saw that.
Okay. Way to not help the cat, man.
Well, I didn't do it on purpose. I would have saved the cat. But yeah, everything else was pretty much the same.
Gotcha. Yeah, from there, you're with, Vanessa as Jay. You're chatting about life. I can't remember if it's at this point. I don't think I have Jay do this yet, but you eventually wind up at a party.
Right.
And you're trying to connect with a friend of Vanessa's brother.
With Todd.
With Todd. And he's quickly found out to be a jerk. And then you have the choice to either stand up for or call out Vanessa and Todd on some, inappropriate things, or you can just kind of just let it be and let her figure it out. I opted for letting her figure it out and then leaving the house.
Yep.
There you go. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to she said she's got it. I don't really want to be in the middle of this. And so I go to the car, and it winds up she gets what she needs. She doesn't do anything, at least according to her, that's questionable. And then pretty much you leave from there. We had a heart-to-heart talk. I confess of who I am, kind of just spill the beans, and to say, look, this is who I am. This is what's going on. I want to be open and honest. And pretty much I get the achievement for the Bonnie and Clyde deal to where you're running off together, which that made me really nervous because Bonnie and Clyde did not work out. So I was like, oh, that's not good, but I'll take it, I guess. So that's the end of chapter 5.
I chose to not tell her who I was.
Ooh.
I kept it a secret.
Kept it to yourself.
Which leads to some other scenario later on, and which makes my entire storyline branch with Jay because I did not tell her who I was at that specific moment.
Yeah, I told her, and I kissed her too.
Me too.
Oh, I did that too.
Yeah.
I'm still lying to you. I'm gonna
So pretty much the plan is at this point you want to go to Canada, right? Is that everybody? Yep. Everybody's on the same page, fleeing to Canada. I mean, who doesn't want to go to Canada? You gotta run to Canada. And then that starts chapter 6, I believe. Correct. And then we go to the future, or we go to the present, I guess, because this was the past the whole time. And you're Zoe, the daughter. You're doing all kinds of stuff, holding your breath, seeing how long you can hold your breath. You're getting witnessed to by a nice young Christian girl.
Man, I don't know what it is about different types of media and Christians. Like, they just make them seem like we're not that weird. Like,
there are, sure, but there are. You gotta admit there are. There's a decent amount, at least, of,
I guess,
weirdos that are just like,
it
wasn't too bad. No, it wasn't. I thought it was fine. It was awkward, but
like the awkward pamphlet and all that.
Oh yeah, that's the part that I 100% agree. It's like, really, did we have to do the pamphlet?
Yeah,
we have to do the here's a little pamphlet to read. It's like, really, you could have just been like, hey, why don't you come hang out with me and my friends and do this and leave it at that. You didn't have to do the pamphlet.
Yeah,
but. Anywho, from there, she's like seeing who I think we all pretty much cut on that it looked like she was seeing Jay off in the distance, a hooded figure. We don't know that it's Jay at this point.
Right.
At this point, she talks to her mom. The mom's in the process of marrying her mistress, Craig, because the dad, Vince is out of the picture. He died. So she's marrying a guy named Craig who was the mistress from before.
Wait a minute. I don't think you'd call that a mistress, though.
Isn't it a mistress, either man or woman? I'm pretty sure mistress works for. I think mistress works for both man and woman.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what they say in the movies. And the movies, see. Yeah. And then from there,
it is not.
It is not. What is it then?
It is a paramour.
What?
Yeah.
Paramore?
Yep.
Like the band?
No, they spell it differently.
Oh, fair enough. All right. Fair enough. I'm telling you, I watched a TV show or a movie the other day, and they used mistress to refer to a man.
They are wrong.
I just assumed, and you know what happens when you assume?
Bad things.
Yep.
You and me. Yep. Yeah. So from there, I think Jay and Vanessa are fleeing from the cops.
They get to the point where they're fleeing from the cops. Yeah.
Well, you get to a checkpoint in Montana.
Sure, yeah.
What did you do? Were you patient, or did you hit the gas?
No, I was able to get. I just patient, and he was like, "I'll let you off with a warning because
which was
our
totally
systems are
unrealistic
down and stuff."
Yeah.
So,
Hey, you don't have your license, but our systems are down, so I can't do anything about it. So go ahead. I'm like, really? There's no old school way to be like,
I
no,
don't
you
know.
don't have your license, dude. But it's Montana. So
Yep.
Same for you.
Samesies. Samesies.
all right, so you continue on. You get to, I believe you get to what I don't, it's some. You start walking a trail.
Yeah, it's some sort of
And
trail that's like
The dad
270
shows up.
miles out.
The dad
I'm
shows
like,
up
how
out of
did
nowhere.
the dad find
dad-
like that's
Yeah. He had a
that was
tracker
weird.
in his daughter or something. Like he had
Had to have.
inserted
Well, they
it
did
when she was
establish
an
that
infant.
he is some sort of not necessarily cop, but like some sort of
Yeah.
security. So he's
He's
got some
a-
resourcefulness.
I think he's a traffic resource officer or a school resource officer, and so he has
Yeah.
his ways.
He's part of some sort of security firm. or
Yeah,
something like
I
that.
think so. But it still was just like, dude, there's no way.
It's far-fetched.
Come on.
Yeah.
But whatever. So he finds you. And you start to have a conversation. And I think Mark and I are about the same. Pretty much the daughter gets defensive to the dad, of course. The dad tries to say who Jay is, and she's like, I already know, and we're running away together. And from there we flee, and we jump off the waterfall.
Oh.
Fade
Yep.
to black.
Yep.
We jump off the waterfall, and I'm thinking Bonnie and Clyde, someone's going to die, and it fades to black. Patrick.
For
What happened to
me,
you?
I'm hiding behind a boulder, and
Yep.
Dad is saying all these things about who Jay is, and she's like, "That's not who he is." And so then I confess, I'm like, "Yeah, that's who I am." And so she's like, "What?" And then so she runs after to her dad, and so I have a choice to either jump or give up, and I'm like. Jump where? Like I don't know. It doesn't give me an option.
No,
to,
you
like,
just jump. You
was
jump right there.
I was like, "What? Just jump up and down?" Like,
Okay,
like
now what?
Like I don't know what it is. So I was like, I don't know if I'm going to jump because I don't want to die. And really, Jay shouldn't have been running away. I'm like, and Jay, I don't think Jay would have had the balls to jump. So I'm like, he wouldn't do that. He's never had that ability to do that before. I'm just gonna give up. So I gave up and I got arrested.
Oh, all right. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
And Vanessa was so mad that I didn't tell her who I was. She
Yeah.
was super, super mad.
Yeah, I got to disagree with you on he has so much knowledge of the outdoors. He's literally lived outdoors most of his life.
Right.
So he at that scene is like, "Do you think we could live? If you think we'll live, I will jump with you." He's like,
Oh,
"I think we could."
I didn't have that option.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just don't think he would jump on his own because he just doesn't.
Yeah.
Him being outdoors, could he make the jump just to make a jump? Yes, but the cops are right there. I don't think he would do that because the cops are right there.
Yeah.
That's fair. Well, like you said, where was he going to jump? Like it
Yeah,
really
I
should
know.
have
I
been
didn't know what he was jumping to. I'm like is it
should have
just
been
to
like
another
jump
rock
the
or-
border or yeah. I have the high ground. You can't get me.
I don't know. I knew when
Sorry,
they
policeman.
said jump. When they said jump, he
Yeah.
meant down into the water.
Yeah,
Oh, I
I
didn't
think
know there
for
was
us,
water. I thought
we
it was
were in
all
a
just
different. I think for
canyon.
Patrick, he was in a different like location. For us, we had to run away. Like you had to do quick time events, and you had to help Vanessa up, and
Oh yeah.
like you're escaping up, and then you get to the edge, and it's like, well, you gonna jump? And I was just like, let's do it. And he's like, it gave me the option to ditch her, and I'm like, that would be like cold.
Yep.
Like that would be super cold at this point to just be like, you know what, you stay. I'm gonna jump. She'd probably like trip and fall and die. So we jump, and then it goes back to the present. And Zoe's visiting her grandpa. Grandpa has broken the door. Well, he says someone broke into his house. The landlady thinks that he broke the door, being senile and losing his stuff. And so there's a back and forth. I don't know if you guys sided with Grandpa or you sided with the lady. I sided with Grandpa, even though I was like, he probably is senile, but it's not. It's
I was
fake.
like, we'll pay for the damages. Just get out of here.
Yeah, that
We'll
was
pay
what
for
I
it."
did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember. I said we'll figure it out later. I don't remember what I did, but so they have some conversations. You help him find some things. You find his wallet, you find his computer, and it's just like, okay, Grandpa's having issues. But then at the same time, you see someone in the street, and at this point again, I'm like, I think it's Jay, and so she runs after him, and it winds up being a total stranger. And then she comes back, talks to Grandpa, and Grandpa's like, you need to face the shadows of the past. You need to do something about this. And so from there, I think our stories, mine and Mark's, go hand in hand, and then Patrick's goes a different direction. So let's start with Patrick, since Mark and I shared ours first. Patrick, what happens from there with you?
So one of the things in one of the previous episodes, she is looking through her things and she sees a letter, and it says, "Write me back," and it's from Jay.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's like, okay, so we're, and then so she ends up going to the penitentiary where he is staying, because he's on death row and he's going to be executed tomorrow. You find out.
Wow.
And so he's like pouring his heart out. He's like, I have nobody. My brothers aren't here. My mom's not here. There is nobody. And so he explains all the different things, and she's like, they're like, they're not too dissimilar from each other. And so he asked her when he has his execution the next day that she would be there, because he saved her back in the hotel. And so I was like, wow, it'd be rough, because I know that he was just a super good guy, bad situation, wrong time, wrong place, things like that. So I decided to be there for him. And
nice.
So the next day, it shoots the next day, and she shows up, and he's on the table, and they're like seconds away from administering the lethal dose of drug to kill him. And there's a phone call, and he gets a stay of amnesty, so he's no longer going to be on death row. I don't know why.
Really?
Don't know what the reason was. Was it because that Zoe had was there? I have no idea what the reasoning was behind it. They never explained it. Maybe we'll get it in book 3. Who knows? But yeah, he's still alive. He was almost so close to being dead. And that scene where they're on the phone talking to through the glass at each other, it was a very emotional scene, because they were both young when it happened. Like, Jay's got like a scruffy beard. His hair's all messed up. He's got his pink jumpsuit on and all that stuff.
Right.
So it was a really, really emotional scene. If you have a chance to watch that scene on YouTube, it really will hit you in the feels. Where I'm like, I was Zoe, and I was pissed at that Jay was a part of the whole family that ruined her entire life. This is why she's in therapy. This is why the only place that she's able to actually feel like nothing's going on, she can let all the weight off her shoulders, is when she's sitting underneath the water for 2 minutes, and even that sometimes doesn't work. And I'm like, why would I even choose to be there with him? And I was like, man, if he doesn't have anybody else, I think it'd be the right thing to do, because he did that for me once, and I'm going to do that for him once. So, it was really, really good back and forth. Very well written, very well voice acted. One of my favorite scenes of the entire game was this one right here. And I'm so sad that you guys missed it.
Or did we?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, wait. Well, no. I'm saying, sure, we missed the prison Zoe conversation and like the change, but we still had a heart-to-heart with Zoe and Jay.
Did.
So
you did?
Yep.
We did.
Oh.
So we missed it, but we didn't.
All right.
So,
okay.
Mark, what happened for you, my friend?
So yeah, she decides to visit Jay, who has survived the jump.
Yep.
He survived the jump and made it into Canada and has his own little cabin. And here's what made me upset.
Uh-oh.
I really was pushing, because at that point, like I said, it turned more into Jay's story. Jay and Zoe, technically.
Yeah.
And I was doing all these things like, what I thought Jay would do, the character would do in the situation. And I was trying my hardest to keep him with Vanessa.
Yeah.
And she goes and she finds Jay and meets up with him and is having this heart-to-heart talk, basically going over their issues and how they're not too, dissimilar from each other, and how they've never moved on from the past and things like that. And one of the questions that you get to ask Jay is, so where's Vanessa?
Yep.
So she was with him for about 6 or 7 years.
Yep.
And she decided to go back to America. And she left him. And so he's by himself in Canada. And he's like, I think she's in California now. I'm like, she's like, she missed regular civilization, because they're having to live off the land basically at this point.
Right.
They're living in the outdoors, and she apparently missed that. And I was like, really? All of that, and she still ends up not staying with him. And so that's crap to me. But but in any case, the heart-to-heart conversation with Zoe and Jay was really good. And
I will have to check that one out.
yeah.
Yep. Did you ultimately have peace, forgiveness,
Yes.
and all that good stuff?
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
They had dinner together at the cabin, just hung out,
Yep.
and said, you know what? Water under the bridge.
Yep.
It's all good.
Yep.
All good in the hood.
And that was her moving on. And then I don't know if you want to mention go ahead and mention the last part, because the last part, the cliffhanger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. Before we get to the cliffhanger, we have other things that happen before that happens. So like they do like where people are.
Yep.
Like I have the mom and Paul. They're off in Tijuana. They're sipping
on the beach.
Mai Tais on the beach and all that.
Yeah.
Tyler is working on like some sort of like oil rig or something like that.
Yep.
He's still alive.
Nope. Tyler's being visited by his dad, Bear Holt, at the gravestone.
So it was both
'Cause
Tyler
he's
and
dead.
Dale. It was both Tyler and Dale for you.
Yeah, both boys are being visited by their dad, Bear Holt, who's actually doing something decent.
Yeah.
Visiting his kids. He occasionally writes Jay, apparently, is what Jay says. Yeah, so.
But then apparently that stops.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and then the last one was Vince. He is still married, and he started his own flying school.
Nice.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Our Vince is flying as an angel.
Yeah. He's in a casket.
Yeah.
At least he wasn't buried alive like I did to that one guy.
That's
Yeah.
true. That is true.
Now,
Yeah, and so go
there's
ahead,
a
Mark.
possibility that actually both the mom and I forget the mom's name, Vince
Sharon?
and the mom, not Sharon.
No, not Sharon.
Mama Holt. I don't
No,
know.
No,
Vince's
no,
wife.
it's the yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember her
That they both died.
name. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't help her with the gunshot wound, I think she can die.
Yeah. They both die.
Yeah. Yeah. Sad times.
But yeah, so all of that happens, and then the cliffhanger.
Yes. So Zoe goes back. She makes peace with Jay, then goes back, and her grandfather's actually getting robbed, and all you see is a man with the hood on running like right past you after you've heard a gunshot, and she walks in, fade to black.
Now, on my side of things, I don't know if this happened on your end. The grandpa starts spilling the beans on some things.
Oh, really? What does he say?
Yeah, he starts saying, because when he's in Two Rock, people are noticing, like
Right.
recognizing him, like,
Yep.
oh, have you been through here? Do I know you, kind of thing. And he's like, well, the reason is I've been there before. Something that happened a long time ago, and I'd been through there before, and I don't know if you get the line when she pulls up to the front door, and you hear Grandpa say, well, it's all in Two Rock. I don't know why you're here. And then you hear the shot.
I did not catch that. I don't know. I don't actually remember what he says.
So Grandpa is a very sketchy guy.
Sure
Yeah,
is.
for sure.
And
For sure.
So if you remember when we had our discussion on book 1, I told you I found out something when I went to look up secrets, when I went to look up certain paths and things like that, and I found out something. Yeah, so Grandpa faked his cancer diagnosis.
I assumed as much.
That's right. I forgot to mention
Yeah.
that he faked it because he confesses to Vince
Yeah.
in my playthrough that he faked his cancer.
Yeah. Yeah. So he never had cancer. He was trying to explain that to Zoe, but apparently whatever skeezy deal he had going on, he ends up getting killed for. So, or
Yeah.
at least getting shot. I don't know if he's dead.
Yeah, we don't know if he's dead or what happened. So, yeah, ends it on a cliffhanger. So book 3, we don't know yet when that's going to happen, but I look forward to it. I hope there's book 3 and book 4.
Same. I love
yeah.
this game. This game is great.
Yeah. So with that being said, ratings. What do you want to give it? Patrick, go ahead.
I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I love these types of games.
Yeah.
And it kind of was reminiscent of the choices that I started to make when in the first Telltale's The Walking Dead season 1.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, wow, I really want to make sure, because some of these games I'm like, I don't care what happens, I'm just going to go along with the story. Like, I was invested with these characters. I mean, it was really well done. The voice acting was awesome. The music was fantastic. The animation, I mean, it could probably be more than a 9 because the animation wasn't my favorite. But after 2 books, I'm like, this is the way the game is, and I got used to it. But yeah, I thought this was a fantastic game. This is a must-play game on Game Pass.
For sure.
Yep.
Mark, how about you?
I'm pretty much on the same road as Pat. I would say 9 out of 10.
Well, I'm with you, fellers. I also give it a 9 out of 10.
All right. Cross the board.
Okay.
9 out of 10 black books. You can't have too many black books. I mean, you gotta, yeah.
9 out of 10 jumps for me.
Jumps in place.
Jumps in place, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Mark, did you want to give your 9 out of 10
I would
An
say
identity.
9 out of 10 busted coffee pots.
All right. Fair enough. Over Dante's head.
Yes, over Dante's
Yes,
head
I like it. I like it a lot. All right, you fine folks. That's all for our spoiler cast discussion of Book 2 of As Dusk Falls. If you care to share any of your own thoughts on that or Xbox Game Pass experiences you've had, well, let's do some very quick housekeeping, as is tradition, where we offer towels, fluff, pillows topped with Andy's candies and tip you off to the GMG news you need to know. On Twitter, Discord, Facebook, and Instagram, you can chat with us. If you enjoy consuming visually, there's always YouTube and Twitch, where Mark and I, along with our Canadian joiner Chris the Rock, does lots of streaming from Sunday to Saturday every week. You can also connect with us on Patreon and our merch page, where you can support and gear up. And now there is one link to rule them all. It's either in the show notes, or you can type linktree.com/thegmgpod. Finally, if you don't want to toss a coin to your podcasters but are still the giving type, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, and Spotify. It helps us reach new joiners through stars, exclamation marks, and your feedback. So let your voice be heard, literally if you want, at 929GMG Guys. Alrighty then, Pat, Mark, and you, our beloved friends, family, and joiners, go get your good morning this week, and may God bless and guide your lives as you live, as you work, and as you game.